What is happening, fishers? Dina from Untraceable Fishing here tonight with Morgan from Nobi, and welcome to Tackle Tuesday. So anyway, tonight we've decided to do something different. We've brought someone out of house, in-house, to explain to you what is going on in the world of Nobi. So who other better to bring than Morgan, who's part of the Nobi team. So let's get cracking. First of all, we have a huge variety of lures on the table. Don't forget, Morgan, Nobi aren't just freshwater oriented or saltwater oriented, freshwater oriented, but it's not just lures you guys do bring into the country and manufacture and produce. What other lines of product you do?
So we do in-house rod blanks, new rods coming in, line, braid, jig heads, all manufactured in-house as well.
So Nobi are pretty much catering. You can get a Nobi rod, reel, line, your jig heads, your lure, everything from them. So you can fish Nobi from the beginning to the end.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. So guys, those of you who don't know the name Nobi, I know they have been around for quite a while. I know Morgan knows a bit more details about that. How long have you guys currently been running for?
So Nobi started their factory in China in 2008.
That's almost 20 years, eh?
Yeah. Small factory, got up to standard. They only started basically bringing lures, hard baits and that in the last few years. Blanks all come from Japan, and then some of them come from China.
Okay.
So yeah, in-house, basically full-blown factory now, doing everything themselves.
Okay, guys, so what we're going to do, we're going to start on the saltwater side. I'm going to run through some of the saltwater lures they do offer, and then we're going to hand over to Morgan for the freshwater side, where he's the expert in. He's a bass fisherman of note. We were chatting some bass fishing before this, and I finally met someone that knows more about bass fishing than I do. And then we're going to run through one or two of the rods. So guys, Nobi, quality lures. I've just pulled a handful of some of my favorites out. They're little stick baits, guys. I don't know all of the names of them. They make a brilliant little surface stick baits in a huge variety of colors. They also have a lot of different lip lures, and their jig heads are phenomenal, guys. They have a huge variety of jig heads. Slow pitch jigging, normal traditional jigging. They also have some different type of things. Its name is a kabura, something very, very different looking, and I don't think any other factory in the world is actually producing at the moment.
No.
So something definitely to look at, something out of there. And then with regards to their bigger stick baits, for the guys that are hitting those tropical waters, targeting the amberjack, your bigger GTs, some yellowtail, and things like that, they do make some phenomenal big, super strong stick baits that can be used to plug along the top or the bottom and lip lures. So that's just a brief description of their saltwater side. Obviously, hooks for the jigs, they do bring that out as well. So that's just a brief description on their saltwater things. Just thought I'd let you know. If you want to have a look at more, check out Palmoria's website or go onto the Nobi website and you can see a huge selection of what they do saltwater. But tonight wasn't saltwater based. We're pretty much going to do something a bit different. I think it's the first time that on Tackle Tuesday we're going to run freshwater and specifically bass fishing. This is something I'm super excited about, guys. Those of you who don't know, I love bass fishing. You don't really often see it on our channel. You've never seen it on our channel. A little pond above the house, and I love spending my afternoons, evenings having a couple of flicks for bass. And I see Nobi have not left any lures out of the package. They got crazy looking spinnerbaits. They got chatterbaits, guys. Something I've never fished with that I'm super keen to fish with, or a bladed jig head. I think chatterbait might belong to one of the company's names out there. Finesse worms, split tail worms, paddle tail worms. There's flipping baits. There's pitching baits, guys. There's all sorts of it. So I'm going to ask Morgan. I think it's one of the newer lines that have come out to run through and show you guys what they have to offer.
Okay, cool. So we got the DIY range that's come through now. So a lot of it's crawls in various colors. Also some stick baits for drop shot finesse fishing.
Yeah, I see that.
Good earthworm colors coming through, natural colors, vibrant colors.
And some very, I know it's weird to say, it's the African oriented colors.
Yeah.
I see a lot of them. We're matching the hatcher to South African based species.
Yeah. So actually some of the designs actually come from the guys in Cape Town.
Okay.
So they match the hatch straight off our waters.
Yeah.
And going through all the dams, getting feedback from anglers, seeing what colors work the best, obviously to open up for our markets this side. So you've got some fork tails, sorry.
No, you carry on.
So the fork tails and that also very basic colors, natural colors.
That'll work well in our conditions.
So also your bait fish comes into play as
Correct.
well. So they've actually gone around and basically utilized what bait fish we have in the country and put it through on their plastics.
Yeah, so like a lot of guys try to get you, but if you're unfamiliar with bass fishing, most of your bass lures are either produced in America or Japan, JDM stuff. So they are often mimicked to replicate the bait fish species out there. Like your sunfish, your blue-breasted breams they have there, your shiners. We don't have those species of fish in our country that our bass are eating. Our bass are eating small carp, small kerper, small bream. And also our bug species and worm species are totally different to what the guys are catching that side. They've got crawfish in their lakes and dams. We don't. So if you're ordering from America, you're going to be ordering June bug. I don't know what some of the other famous American colors.
Watermelon red, candy.
And it's pretty much the same colors over and over.
Yeah.
Where your other lure companies, that's all you can be getting. Nobi have come out with a different selection of colors, which is quite exciting to see. I'm so tired of fishing the same color lures over and over and over again.
Even some two-tone colors, so they actually have like one, I think it was a pumpkin color, a peanut butter and jelly. So it's brown on top with a bit of purple glitter on top.
So it's nice. So at least the bass is seeing that from underneath, you're seeing a different, what do you call it, a contrasting color to the riser,
dark, lighter
and to the bottom. So it's also one of my favorite ones. I think I lined them all up this side. These creepy craws. I think it's a 3.5 inch.
Yeah.
Phenomenal bait, maybe to put on a little. You can even small enough to put on a spinner bait as a trailer.
Trailers.
I think on a jig head this will work.
100%.
Be phenomenal on a jig head. And for those guys who like a bit of punching and pitching and flipping, I think that if you put a little 1 ounce or 2 ounce, you can really get some damage done there.
So you start pitching on a 2 ounce tungsten.
Yeah.
Straight down.
You can punch straight to the weeds and get in there. The lure's not overly big with big trailers where you're going to get hookups and stuff into the in the brush and stuff like that. So it'll pull through quite nicely. And then anything else you want to highlight that you've got on the table there for us?
Yeah, so the paddle tails all range from all different sizing, 3.5 inch, and weedless. Guys, if you want to go weedless in the bass fishing, obviously getting tired, hooked up with your hard baits.
You want to be going weedless, yeah.
This is the bait to throw.
And I see they come right up to quite a big, I think 4.5, 5 inches.
Yeah. So we've got a.
So even the guys, I know they're freshwater orientated, but
can even use this in saltwater because
I'm telling you now, if a cob sees that, he's smashing that.
100%. And on a two-tone like this, I think this is a watermelon candy split, and
And one thing about their baits, over the privilege actually feeling the baits, very, very nice, soft
texture,
pliable, and very stretchy, pliable texture. Not going to break easily, but they're going to be they've got super realistic action, which what you guys have put a lot of initiative into, which we do all appreciate out there. So Nobi also make a range of bass worm hooks, guys. I know you come in some different models and things like that for.
Yeah, we got like 1/0s in the straight shanks for obviously your worms, your finesse worms, and that. You get the wide gap, heavier gauge, up to I think 6.0.
For a bit of heavier condition fishing.
Yeah, even with weightless, I mean, use a heavier hook.
Yeah,
they balance nicely
with the lure. You get the extra bit of distance, and you get the correct drop
and full rate
on the lure.
So yeah, it does the terminal tackle and that. They also full blown into that. Yeah. So hooks, sinkers, you name it, they've got it.
Another thing I picked up there, a lot of companies out there, their worms, they come just with a normal standard little paddle tail at the bottom. You guys have really put the effort in. I see there's a stick worm. It's got a bit of a thinner paddle. What I'd call a curly tail worm. You guys call a
dead ringer sometimes.
Dead ringer stringer tail. They've got a fork tail, a split tail worm, which will be quite nice. Even one of those cut off as a spinnerbait trailer, once again. Sorry guys, I always like to change things up to what they're supposed to be fished with. Another fork tail, so there's a huge variety of different, and a finesse worm. Yeah. Which is the
farm dam killer.
Farm dam killer, but that is your number one go-to. I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to be purchasing a couple of packets of these before I head home tonight, so make sure everyone else they do. But the part I'm most excited about, on the right-hand side, I have two phenomenal rods. I like my saltwater fishing, but I think I own more freshwater bass rods that I don't need. I've got a dam. It's probably 15 meters by 5 meters. I've probably got 75 square meters of water fishing. I think I've got 7 bass setups. I look like a bass pro when I rock up to the 7 rods.
Nothing wrong with that.
When I can stand in one place and cast the whole dam.
Nothing wrong with that.
So we're going to pick up let's pick up that little 6-foot killer you showed me. Tell us a little bit about this. It's called a non-such.
Yeah, so the non-such 6 foot, basically very, very light rod. Travel rod as well.
You put it in my hand and I felt like I had nothing in my hand.
Yeah, so this was aimed at basically the kickboat guys, kayak fishermen. Off the side, it is a little bit short, but will do the job if you're fishing small ponds like you guys are doing. Tip is really, really nice and soft. The color on the blanks are actually...
It's phenomenal, eh?
You want to buy more because they just look so nice.
They look so good, yeah.
But yeah, overall, nice little light travel rod. If you're traveling around, put in the back of your bucky.
And they're also available in some different lengths, this one.
Yeah. So 6 foot, I think it's 6 foot, 6'8", 7'2". I think it stops at 7'2".
You get into your standard normal bass rod ranges.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, the 6 foot off the kick boats, when you don't want a longer rod, especially when you're getting your fish in nice and close to be able to land your fish, you start battling with a longer rod to get the rod up high enough.
Tension on the line.
Yeah, so that's where the little 6 foot do come in handy. So it's not always about having the longer rod, guys. Sometimes the little shorter rod, especially fishing of kayaks and things like that, makes a big, big difference.
100%.
And then we're going to move on to, I've left it for last because I think it's my favorite one of the lot. Just because when it comes to bass fishing, a bait caster is definitely my favorite. There are some situations I'd use a spinning reel. We have the little Leisure K4. Beautiful little well-finished rod. Absolutely looks world-class with the finishes. Little carbon inserts on the tightening adjustment on the reel seat. Nice trigger as most bait caster rods do. And also a little, was it little 3 or 4 pieces?
4 piece.
A little 4 piece. A nice little travel series, guys. I'm just going to pop him apart and I'll show you how quickly and easy this guy will fold up. And then we have our little rod which comes in a beautiful little bag. How easy is that?
Quick and easy.
Perfect. And this rod also available in different sizes and lengths.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, guys. For the guys that are traveling or just want to keep a little bass rod behind the bucky seat or in the cupboard, I think this is a phenomenal choice. One thing I did like about it when I had a little flick with it before, I wouldn't even have said it felt like a 1-piece rod to me, which is always a signature of a good 4-piece rod. No, I wouldn't even notice. This particular model I picked up, I think personally I'd like to throw a little crankbait with this, or a little jerk bait. It's got a nice little soft tip action, especially for your treble hook type of lures.
Medium blank with I think a fast tip.
Yeah.
So you've got that lots of sensitivity
there,
on the front.
And you've got going to absorb, especially when you're fishing treble hook, things like that, you want the rod to absorb those shakes so the fish don't end up throwing the lure. Yeah, so I think that'll be a phenomenal choice. Okay, Morgan, we're going to put you in the deep sea. Anything else in the deep side? Anything else you want to throw out there? Your time's now.
No, I think we've covered most of the bases. Yeah, just go look at the websites, Willamora and Nobi.
Yeah.
And you'll find actually a lot of the range, what you might be looking for, they have.
Yeah, I jumped on there today. Obviously, I had to do some homework before the show, and I was blown away. I didn't actually know you covered such an expansive range of things. I see you got some lines and like leader lines and things like coming out. So, I know we have given some of them away in our previous competitions, and the stuff is phenomenal. So let's pick one lure on the table. It's your favorite lure. I know they're all your favorite, but if you had to fish with one lure for the rest of your life, what did you fish with?
100% down creeper crawler.
Okay, now you've just taken my lure out of my hand. So, okay, guys, I'm going to go over the chatterbait, guys, just because I've never fished with one. So, there's not a lot of chatterbaits available in the country at the moment, so definitely check out the chatterbaits. I think it makes a phenomenal choice. As Morgan was telling me earlier, if you like fishing a spinnerbait that doesn't get hooked up, chatterbait is definitely the way to go. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. If there are any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will answer them as soon as possible. If I don't know the answer, we'll get the bass specialist here with us. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Until next week, cheers.
Cheers.